We are getting lots of nice heifer calves this summer, so Eddie and I are kind of juggling around our calf yard. If you remember, this happened this time last year, if you've been with us for that long. So we have put our first 3 oldest calves in hutches in milk from pails so that we can put them into a super hutch before they're weaned. But before we do that, Eddie has to clean up this area here where there was a bull calf. So we're gonna set it up right here. I think we're gonna just have it facing the same direction as this, so kind of lined up like a bus. And those calves we kind of just switched around last week. We took the oldest one out, put her in the heifer barn, and then put the youngest one there. We couldn't move 3 at a time just because the calvings were really spaced out when those calves were born, but now they're getting closer together. So we're gonna move 1, 2, 3 into a super hutch. They'll be fed milk in there. Usually we wean them in their single hutches, but we've done this once or twice before, so we're gonna do it again, give it another go, just to prevent us having to buy more hutches for a short time that will sit in the yard the rest of the year. This really should have been cleaned up probably a while ago. You can see it's kind of wet here still. It would have been better if this was cleaned up and the sun was able to dry this up and kill any bacteria, but it's busy on the farm. It's busy. You know how it is. There's always something to do, and then you kind of leave the extra jobs till you really need the thing done.
Gotta be my favorite toy on the farm.
The skid steer?
Yeah, well, John Deere's.
Right.
Not just a skid steer. Where do we want to put the sand?
I think we'll line it up with this one, kind of like a bus.
So, the same
Or do you want to do them back to back?
No, it doesn't matter to me.
I just figure, like, having them in a row, you have to bring the water and feed a little less far.
Yeah. So I'll bring one of the gates over so we know where we want to put the sand.
Okay.
And then you can set up, right? I'm also getting the fuel light beat, so I better fuel up.
You better. I think so. I think so, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Eddie just did a huge wheelie in the skid steer and then was mad I didn't get it on camera. Anyway, we use these super hutches, same as our calf hutches. They're from Steelhead Ag by Calftel, and we're really happy with them. They really are durable and have held up so nicely. They come with the fencing in front of them and the feed troughs and the water trough, and we bed them with sand in the summer, which we find amazing, and then we'll put straw in the winter. We still keep a sand bed on the bottom. But yeah, they're so easy to move around. You saw Eddie just move it around with the skid steer. You build the frame. It comes with all the wood you need to build the frame, so you do that when you get them, and then the frame stays on and you can just move them around with the frame. He puts it on with the skid steer. It's so easy to set up that I can do it myself. So you can see here Eddie's just placed it on the sand. Here's the sand. So that's their bed where they lay. And there's different window options. The whole bottom one is one panel, so the whole thing comes up and closes the whole bottom, and then the top ones are individual panels. You can close one at a time, which is handy for winter time. In the summertime, of course, we just leave them open. When calves raised individually are placed in large groups, the stress from competition and social pressure can lead to setbacks in growth and health. But placing a small group of calves in a multi-max group calf raising system is the best way to ease the transition. Continued health and growth will be attained as animals bond in a social group, and we have witnessed this firsthand. As I mentioned, the windows at the back are great for not only maintaining good airflow, but also for ease of bedding. You can just toss some fresh bedding in through the bottom windows. They're made from high molecular weight polyethylene that will not break down or deteriorate over time. We've had ours for over 2 years now, and they've held up to some serious weather conditions, including a huge, heavy amount of wet snow that fell directly on top of the hutch. The group hutch has a large entryway for maximum ventilation in the warmer months. So there we go. It's all set up. Now all it needs is some water, feed, and a few calves. The hutch is quite tall, so we find we can keep calves in these multi-max hutches for a long time. I think the maximum we have done is 7 months, but they could have stayed in much longer. We just move them when we need the group hutch for new calves. Finally, it has UV protection, which is great for the calves in both the heat of the summer and with reflection from snow in the winter. And it has a whopping 10-year warranty. Looking to upgrade your hutches or make the move to group housing? Give Steelhead Egg a call and reference our channel for 5% off all regular priced items through 2024.
Eddie and I are remembering that when we did this before, we had them on pails for a couple of weeks before moving them, so they would get used to not sucking on a bottle, but we forgot about that, and we can see them trying to suck on just about anything, so that might be an issue. They might start sucking on each other's little teats, which is not good because then you can get a cow that doesn't produce milk in 1 quarter or 2. But we'll monitor the situation.
With our calf yard rearranged and things looking good on the farm, Eddie and I decided it was time to take a quick trip to Niagara Falls. Eddie remembers going quite often to Niagara Falls as a kid, and we had never taken our kids, so we packed up and went for 2 nights. Getting away from the farm isn't easy. It's hard to leave your animals in the hands of others, even if they're well trusted. The what ifs are always in the back of your mind. What if a cow gets sick? What if there's a huge robot issue and we have to head home? And the list goes on. But once everything was as prepared as it could be on the farm and we arrived at the falls, it was a huge relief to not have to physically do the day-to-day work and to get a break. I think it's good for our kids to be able to mix fun with the whole family into our schedules. We all had an amazing time. Some of the highlights were, of course, admiring the beauty of the falls, especially the part where you can go up and see the water at the top of the falls flowing down. Also, riding the Sky Wheel, which is a giant Ferris wheel, was a big hit. The candy shop, of course, I think it was called the Fudge Factory or something, and definitely the go-karts. Our youngest wasn't tall enough to ride as a passenger yet, but she enjoyed watching as we took turns going with the other 2. Eddie will tell you neither of them wanted to ride with me because they were afraid of my driving, but that's not the truth.
That was so fun. Oh, that was awesome.
How was it?
The first time down the hill was scary, and then the next time.
How was it?
That's worth the money.
Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting dairy, and we'll see you in the next one. I'd love it if you could give this video a like.